دوستا وقت بخیر. امید که صحتمند و تندرست و سالم باشید. دیگر بس همه بهره نزغره کشمک در خدمت شما عزیزان با یک ویدیوی متفاوت‌تر امروز با شما باشم دوستان. امروز قراره که قبل از این آبمون آب بردیم از اینجا باشید تصمیم بعضی تصاویر بگیرم شما هم نامد بشید. کمی دیر شده بچه منتظره صبح من کلاس دیر میگم چون تا بچه ما چون کردم باز منم بعد دیگه تا بیم استیشن پشت پارکینگ میگردم موتر پارک کنم بعدم ترین بگیرم و به این طرف درس البته سر خود رو استیشن داریم که بگیرم چون سی خانه از دوستان اونجا نزدیک‌تره اونم اونجا کار کنم بگم به ترین بیم الله خیلی داشته باشیم در ادامه برنگردیم شما عزیزان ویدیو خوب گرفتیم اون که کلاس تا گفتم و بیرون ساختمان منتظر دسته باشیم من دیگه مناسب که گفتم مناسب زیرا اون که گرفته دستیم بقیه کلاسی ما نیستم خوب 27 بلا 27 که اول استاد گفته بودم و 30 شاید برسم گفته بودم نویسی بیرون منتظر نباشیم احتمالا از سود آبوس خروج نشد باید بگم که کلاس هستم آبوس بگیرم دسته نشد
First floor. Third floor.
دیگه پای دوستان مافیا فرد
One thing is art connection. You don't have any art.
اینجا دوستا ما منتظر این یکم زودتر آمده یک ساعت از ساعت بهتر باز میشه آب گالری منتظر یه زمان که خواستم ویوی بیرون همه کسی به شما داشته باشم QLD. داخل مناطق آفرانری است دوستان. البته ما منتظریم تا هنوز داخل خارج نشدیم. از کوتاه تصویر براتون میگیرم که انشاءالله خوبش برسه. همه برایش خود مصروف هم دیگه. اینا نمونه های از پینتینگ یا همان نقاشی دوستان در دهلیز یا همان نقاشی داشتیم.
But unfortunately, when she was in her early 20s, there was a cyclone and the island was inundated with salt water, which meant all the fresh water was unavailable. It was polluted with salt water. So everyone on the island was removed to another island. And she was very miserable about this and quite depressed about it.
Yeah, as you call it, cyclone. Yeah, you know what cyclone is? Really
Really
severe
big
storm.
storm.
Yeah, and yes, and because of the storm, there was no fresh water on the island, so all the people had to be removed.
So when she was quite elderly, Indigenous or Aboriginal Australian art, and we actually call that art now, we call Aboriginal people who are discussing their art First Nations people. So that's how we refer to those people, First Nations people. This is a piece by the First Nations artist. She's a Queensland artist. We probably can have a look. The name's Tim R. Sam. And she's talking about her country, Kalkadoon country. So there was a very large massacre of people in a battle that went for about 10 years. It's called Massacre of Battle Mountain. So she is especially moved by this, and she decided to recreate these works. So they're woven sculptures, if we look at them. So at the base of Battle Mountain, when she visited, there were many emu prints. Emus, you understand? The large bird emu. So she used the feathers from the emus in her work. She's a very free-flowing artist. So she has used bamboo as the frame inside the works, but then she just starts weaving. And she uses some colour twine. And they're just really exquisite pieces, aren't they? Quite lovely. And they're representing Battle Mountain, they're representing the emus and her people. And it was a way, because she didn't grow up in that area, her family family were removed from that area because that was the government policy at the time. She came back to this area and she rediscovered the story of Battle Mountain. What they might be. Heads. Well done. Heads. So there's 7 heads.
Heads.
Yeah.
So this is a First Nations artist, Gordon Bennett, and he won the Moreton Chandon Scholarship to Paris. When he was there, he was visiting the Louvre on a number of occasions, and he came across a painting by the artist Jericho, very famous, the Raft of Medusa, and it was a myth about, or a legend, about a French ship that had sunk, and the people in the surviving little boat ate each other, cannibalism. Okay, so that's what he based the artwork on. But what he's commenting on is the colonial oppression in Australia by white people to Aboriginal people. So that's what the 7 heads are actually First Nations peoples. They've been murdered. And you can you see the boat and the lightning?
Yeah.
The other really interesting thing is that so they are taken from what are known as fireballs, and in central Queensland, someone in the clan or the tribe would always be responsible for keeping a fire alive and transferring the makings to make the fire from place to place, because First Nations peoples would follow the seasons and move to different areas. So the fire had to be always available. Why do you think it's so important in central and northern Queensland to be concerned about fire making? Have you seen all the rain that's happened up there this last week? We get the monsoonal rains that come through. Heavy rain happens up there for 6-7 months a year. So being able to make a fire is really important. Man who came to Brisbane, he set up a photographic studio, the first in Brisbane, and was very successful. And he also liked to paint. He liked to paint people's portraits. He painted a picture of this man whose original name was James Davis. He was from Scotland. When he was 16, he stole something and was transported here, sent here as a convict.
The prisoner.
Prisoner. You know, Australia was settled first by convicts, by prisoners. He came out at 16. First he went to Sydney. He gained his freedom, but then he stole something again. 1880, and there was a large international exhibition happening in Melbourne. So he was commissioned by the Queensland government to paint this piece about how prosperous Brisbane looked. So it was like a propaganda piece, like a let's sell Brisbane. Very well. So what we've got here is Kangaroo Point. Okay? So see where this boat is? From here to here would have been where the Story Bridge is now. Okay? So it's looking down from New Farm, looking across here. So this is Kangaroo Point. This was called Burley Sawmill. And you can imagine you need a lot of timber to be building. So that's the sawmill. I do love Kangaroo Point then. So we can see there's pasture here, cows. We've got a man here with two big panniers, big baskets, probably of fruit and vegetables that he's bringing. He's walking along and he's bringing down, and a ship will come and pick that up. This boat or ship was the mail ship that went up and down the coast from Sydney. Over here, this little road down here led to the ferry that people used ropes to go across to here. So this is the city side of the river. And here we have Parliament House. Old Parliament House is here. We have two cathedrals happening. We have the Tower Mill. Have you seen the Tower Mill up on Wickham Terrace? It's the old mill up on Wickham Terrace. Worth to go and walk up there and have a look at it. It's lovely. It's one of the old important things happened in his life. And it's terribly cute. He's got number 84, a girl I had a crush on in primary school. Cannot remember her name, but her home was on this street. And my friends and I used to ride our bikes there. So it's lovely. We have this, it's like a diary piece marked on a map of Brisbane, and it's in very much a different contrast to this painting and the paintings we look at over there. So this is the very personal about Brisbane. All right, let's go look at station nowadays if you're catching a train. Oh, this is by an artist, Vida Lady, and we're seeing her other work soon. She's a very important artist to the Queensland Art Gallery. She encouraged children's art in Queensland. This is a beautiful piece. It's a corner of Brisbane, and it's actually looking down at Eagle Street across the river to Kangaroo Point, and that's St Mary's Anglican Church on the other side. This building is still there. It's on the corner, I think, of Creek and Eagle Street, and it was a bank, the Royal Queensland Bank at the time. This lovely piece as well. Again, the same artist. You can see the building cranes. See the cranes? We've got them now on the skyscraper. That's quite beautiful. This is a much softer piece by the same artist. So this is actually in South Brisbane. So you've got the church on this side. It's not, I don't think it's, no, that's St John's Cathedral. This one must be, anyway, it's the church on Vulture Street in South Brisbane, and that's Brisbane State High School on the other side. So quite, really established buildings. And looking back towards the city, and it's much softer in the background here. Yes. This is the area there, quite easy and now. Quite beautiful. So here he's done the abstract. You can see the ferry lights, that the ferry is heading towards the island. Alright, let's continue on.
Gide geç. Ver onu şöyle.
This is by an artist, Daphne Mayo, and she was very important She has this piece called the Olympiad, and she did this in 1946, but it was cast in 1958 into bronze. Quite beautiful. She studied in London and in Paris. She was quite an influential artist. She did she's done several. Here we go. For those who are interested, I love this. Here she is, look at her. So this is in 1930 something, and so she's working on these huge sculptures. Can you see that? There she is kneeling down working on it, and that's part of it. So it's quite enormous. And she did it all. She's quite amazing. I love what she's working with. She's smart enough to wear a hat in the summer. Yeah, it's a lovely piece. Really beautiful. So she's a very famous artist. She does exquisite work. Okay, here we have this beautiful painting. It's the gallery's most favourite painting. If you ask people what's their favourite painting in any sort of survey, they will always say this one.
I need you guys to step forward. Forward. That's it.
دوستان خوب ما امروز آمده بودیم گالری کوینزلند برزیل که از شهرهای استرالیا و تقریبا برنامه همین اتمام برسه ما هم احساس می‌کنیم به طرف سنت ترس